At the Qantas Founders Museum.
Guess what? After our big drive day, we were lucky enough to get tickets to the Light and Sound show tonight. Yep. So it makes us happy campers, doesn't it?
Yeah, it makes us happy campers.
That we're not just driving, we are seeing some stuff. So, yeah, let's go check this out.
See what's happening. LDC3.
So it's a light and sound show that they're going to show us tonight that they project onto an aeroplane.
Yeah.
How cool is that?
Cool. Last time we visited Longreach's Qantas Founders Museum was November 2019.
I've been on some of my tours today. Welcome back. For those of you that haven't, welcome. A little bit about us here at the museum. We are a local not-for-profit organisation here in Longreach. We are not associated with Qantas in any way, shape or form. We happen to tell our story, which is their story in the place where they started operating from.
This aircraft was sold by Qantas and then repurchased by the Founders Museum because it was scheduled to be scrapped in England. During the 747's working life with Qantas, this particular aircraft was estimated to have carried over 5.4 million passengers. The sight of the constellation stirs my emotions for some reason. I'm not too sure why. So in 1919, I was blinded.
Sorry.
Can't see.
Sorry about that. What happened?
Hudson Fish was involved in setting up all the route for the Australian leg of the Great Air Race. And after the Great Air Race was over, that's when Qantas came to fruition because he thought it was a good idea.
Good idea.
And some other guy, I can't remember his name.
Aboriginal people were the first astronomers and are custodians of the star and songline stories. In the sky world are the Seven Sisters, who created the Earth world and the songlines. The traditional custodians of these lands have for thousands of years used the stars as a map to navigate the sky world, the Earth world, and all the water which the rainbow serpent brought into being. The rainbow serpent created our waterholes and the ancient inland sea. The serpent also created the mountains and the Channel Country. The traditional custodians of Longreach are the Yiningai, and the songlines travel through the land of the Yiningai. Mekani, Moro, Yiningai.
Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the founders. The Fire, Paul McGuinness, Flying Ace, Intrepid Aviator, Adventurer. The Iron, Hudson Fish, Director, Chairman, Leader, Pioneer. The Visionary, Fergus McMaster, Grazier, Investor, Champion of the Business. The Engineer, Arthur Beard, Flight Mechanic, Aerodrome Manager, Outback Innovator. Our story starts in 1915. Fish and Paul McGuinness are both soldiers fighting the horrific battles of the Gallipoli campaign. McGuinness survives the shocking slaughter of the Battle of the Neck, where many Australian soldiers watched their mates die before meeting their own deaths in a hail of gunfire. In under an hour, Hundreds have fallen. Scores of casualties lie where they fall and die of their wounds under the scorching sun. No strategic ground is gained. Throughout the war, men look up from the trenches and see the future. After Gallipoli, McGuinness and Fish join the Middle East campaign. They finally cross paths in the legendary No. 1 Squadron of the Australian Flying Corps. McGuinness becomes a pilot and Fish an observer and gunner. Keeping their dangerously unreliable machines in the air is Arthur Baird, a talented young flight engineer. When these three meet, none of them can know what lies ahead. Both men, along with Ross Smith, whom we'll meet again, also fly secret X-flight missions for Lawrence of Arabia, who later wrote about the fearlessness of Australian pilots. The dream of flight has inspired many unlikely aviators throughout history. Some were more successful than others. And don't forget, McGuinness writes his letter barely 10 years after the Wright brothers' first flight. Although the war has seen advancements in aviation, the technology is still in its infancy. Knowing this, Prime Minister Billy Hughes announces a grand idea to kickstart a civil aviation industry. The plan? A great air race. The prize? £10,000, an inconceivable fortune in 1919. The challenge? To fly from Great Britain to Australia, 30,000 kilometres across 3 continents in under 30 days. It's never been done before. It'll test the aircraft and push the pilots to their limit. Our heroes know that this is their destiny. But this isn't them. Remember Ross Smith? He and his crew will eventually win the race. Unable to secure funding to enter the race, Fish and McGuinness never get off the ground. They're hired by the organisers to take a road trip, though there weren't many roads involved, in a brand new Ford Model T to scout and prepare landing grounds. And money is tight. Our founders dig in, raise funds, sell shares, fight their competition, and order their first plane, an Avro 504K. Carrying passengers is only part of the picture. In order to be a successful business, they need steady earnings, which come in the form of a government airmail subsidy. The company quickly expands, and Qantas becomes the first and only airline to manufacture its own aircraft. Baird supervises the construction of the Avalon DH-50s, famously playing music on a gramophone to keep his team of workers motivated. Baird's exacting standards contribute to Qantas' long-lasting reputation for safety and reliability. His workshop philosophy? You fix it, you fly it. This takes flight in 1969, the year of the moon landing. As you can see, the 747 is big, really big. The tail alone is 6 stories high. It takes the largest building in the world to assemble the jumbo jet. The 747's head of design describes his creation as a place, not a conveyance. Now, passengers walk into a space where they can eat, sleep, and watch movies before emerging on the other side of the world. Costly multi-stop flights are over. The architect Norman Foster calls the 747 his favourite piece of architecture. Its wide-body design and seating capacity help to democratise air travel, and Qantas becomes the world's only all-747 airline. Then the first airline to offer business class. In the 80s, Sherelle Quinn and Anne Bennett become Qantas's first female pilots, and later, Quinn becomes the airline's first female captain. Leading the people to water and food. when Ala Dreaming creates a sensation when it lands in Japan on its maiden voyage. In 2020, the 747 is retired from Qantas's fleet after almost 50 years of service. There'll never be another jet quite like it, and I'm sad to say goodbye. For me, she'll always be Queen of the Skies. Qantas has come a long, long way since it was a local business in 1920, and our heroic founders each played a critical role. The people of Longreach played a part as well, and the local community made this museum what it is today, a new home for these incredible machines.